This is the Mets POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the New York Mets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It wasn't pretty, but it didn't have to be for the New York Mets as Pete Alonso gets his first walk-off since 2023, and the Mets take the opener of this series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Welcome in to the Mets Postcast here on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and the Locked On Mets podcast feed. Your Postcast host, Chris Schubert, here with you after each and every Mets game throughout the course of the season, and a weird one, a scrappy one. This one wasn't pretty. They all count the same for the New York Mets, though, and Pete Alonso delivers the big blow, the sacrifice fly walk-off in the ninth inning, and the Mets get out of here with a 4-3 win. A weird one, a wild one, a pitcher's duel early. Kind of expected that with the two pitchers that were on the mound, David Peterson and Paul Skeens. We'll get to Petey here in just a little bit. And then in the late innings, the defense was there in the eighth, and then the defense wasn't there in the ninth. So how about we start there? How about we start with the ninth inning where things got a little crazy?
This is what you'll be talking about.
The Mets clinging to a 3-2 lead, and the story of this one early was going to be missed opportunities. Now, I think I've mentioned this before on the postcast, but throughout the course of the game, I take notes on some key at-bats, and if the Mets miss on any opportunities, we highlight those sections in red, and then the ones where they drive runs in and they come through in situations, those ones are highlighted in green. And to nobody's surprise, because you all watched the game, in the start of this game, a lot of red. And I thought that was going to be the story, that Paul Skeens didn't pitch his best, did not have his A-plus stuff, and the Mets didn't take advantage of the multiple chances that they had with their big guys up at the plate. In the first inning, they get Lindor and Soto on to start the game, and then it is a double play by Alonso and then a Nimmo strikeout. So right away, you have a chance to jump on Paul Skeens and make him have to work from behind and have to make this Pittsburgh Pirates offense, which does not produce a lot of runs, to work from behind. You miss there. In the second inning, you get first and second with one out. Beatty strikes out Acuna with a ground ball. Again, another missed chance. The fifth inning, a one-out single by Lindor. Soto and Alonso can't come through. Back-to-back strikeouts. The sixth inning, a one-out double by Vientos. Runner in scoring position. McNeil walks. Double play ball by Alvarez. So there was a theme early in this game that the Mets were getting to Skeens. They were putting traffic on the base pass, but they weren't coming through with those big hits. And a bunch of Soto and Alonso at bats early in this game, they weren't coming through. They found it a little bit later. Soto has the RBI ground out in the seventh. Again, just putting the ball in play, good things happen. That ties the game at 2. Pete, a little dribbler on the infield, misplayed by Cabrian Hayes. That allows the Mets to score. Great heads-up play by Acuna, getting that hand in just in time. And so the Mets take a 3-2 lead. They now go to the ninth inning. After Brandon Nimmo robs a home run for Dedel Nunez, we'll get to him in just a second, in the eighth inning. You're clinging to a 3-2 lead. You do not have Edwin Diaz because he's worked back-to-back days. So it's Huascar Brazoban who gets the call to be the closer tonight. And he did his job. He got the balls on the ground that you needed to get out of this game with the Mets winning in the top of the ninth. But the defense behind him, 2 weird misplays, because Francisco Lindor gets that ball, 99 out of 100 times? I mean, just a play that he makes routinely. Watch the ball into his glove, didn't really pick his head up, but just ball bounces off the tip of his glove. That is a tailor-made double play ball. Misses it. Acuna has a chance to make the throw at home. Ball takes kind of a weird hop. Not really sure what happened there. And that allows the tying run to score. And so they made some weird plays defensively. A great defensive play to get the double play to get out of the ninth, to keep the game at 3-3. And then in the bottom of the ninth, Lindor, some good fortune goes the Mets' way after it didn't in the top of the ninth. Ball goes off the second base bag, goes through IKF's legs. Soto comes through with the hit this time. He puts one into the gap. Lindor heads up base running, goes first to third. And the Mets get a hit with, or a good at bat with runners in scoring position, because Alonso walks it off with the sacrifice fly. No harm, no foul in the craziness of the ninth inning as the Mets pick up the win in the opener in walk-off fashion. Believe it, that is their 4th walk-off of the season. Marte had the last one against the Phillies. Pete now adds his name to the list. So a weird one, a weird one late, and you thought it was going to get weird, especially when that bullpen door swung open in the 8th inning, and Dednell Nunez was the guy who was asked to get the 8th inning. And I know the Mets were somewhat shorthanded tonight. They did not have Edwin Diaz. Ryan Stanek had worked 2 of the last 3 days, so wondered if they wanted to go to him. Clearly they didn't. Reed Garrett had worked 2 of the last 3 days, threw 21 pitches yesterday, so it looked like they wanted to stay away from him. So you were left with Kranick, Brazoban, Buto, Cabrera, Nunez to help you get through this game tonight. It was Buto, and then it was Brazoban in the 9th, but it was Nunez to bridge that gap. And it's a tough spot because the last 2 times we saw him, the 2 times we've seen him this season, he has been just spotty at best. I mean, that's the best way to describe what Nunez had been so far this season. Not throwing a ton of strikes, putting guys on the base pass, walks. I mean, everything's been hit in the infield. I mean, he just had not given up a whole lot in the first 2 outings, but just had all sorts of base traffic. Was better, got some great defense from Brendan Nimmo, robbing of the home run, and that should be a really good confidence boost for Nunez going forward to finally have that clean inning under his belt. So the Mets did not have their A relievers today. They went with the B squad, and the B squad was able to get it done. They were able to keep the game where it needed to be to allow Alonso to walk it off in the 9th inning. We'll talk more about David Peterson and the lineup today, and Carlos Mendoza continuing to try to find ways to get everybody involved in this lineup on a regular basis. We will get to all of that here on the other side. You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Well, between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you complete control and full visibility over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, spending, and investments all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. The food delivery apps, they're big in my household. We use them pretty regularly. With that, you can now budget smarter and save more by using Monarch. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan those long-term goals. Want to manage money with a partner? It is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Are you looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious? We'll crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios. One of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you saturated fats to help you keeping fuller longer. You've got the no shells wonderful pistachios for that grab and go ease, whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids. Wonderful pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. Get snackin' and get crackin' with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Back here on the Mets Postcast, the Locked On Mets podcast feed and the Locked On Mets YouTube channel. Jonathan providing us with a stat in the YouTube chat. The 2025 Mets are the first team to start their home schedule 16-4 since the 2015 team. Jonathan, I'll take your word for that you got that from somewhere. It has been an excellent start for the New York Mets at home this season. They have been really, really good. Let's talk about David Peterson, who was really, really good tonight. I thought I'd have to look at them, list them all out, but one of the better starts, at least thinking here so far this season, and a nice bounce back effort. Bad start his last time out, gave up the 4 runs in Arizona, got hit a little bit. And the thing with David Peterson is he tends to have that one blow-up inning. And you normally see it coming because he's cruising through the first couple of innings, and whether it's in the 4th or the 5th, sometimes in the 6th, he just kind of hits a wall. And there's traffic on the base pass, and then he allows the game to get out of control a little bit. And what should have been a great start, what should have been 6 scoreless, 7 scoreless, he has 1 inning that derails him. I thought tonight he did a great job not allowing that inning to happen. He made 1 mistake early in the 2nd inning, but really settled down after that. He had 2 2-out walks in the 1st, which you can't have on a regular basis. Better teams than the Pirates will take advantage of those extra at-bats, keeping an inning alive, but worked around those 2 2-out walks. Did not allow a run in the 1st, allowed the home run in the 2nd, but settled down after that. And I even wrote in the notes, I wonder if it was good that he got that out of the way early, that the run getting scored. Obviously, you don't want that to happen, but with we know that Petey tends to have that blow-up inning. Perhaps it happening there, even if you want to call it a blow-up inning. Came back, had a 1-2-3 third, had a 1-2-3 fourth, 9 in a row set down since the home run. Actually got the streak up to 10. Got some good defense, and then got a strikeout to get out of a first and third 2-out jam. Worked around a leadoff single in the 6th. And I said a very fine David Peterson start. And I'll tell you this, I loved Carlos Mendoza because it was the bottom part of the lineup, 8-9-1, trying to steal some outs. I am very critical at times of Carlos stealing outs with his starters, maybe not pulling them when he needed to. I loved this tonight. I thought PD really kind of found his groove there, and you're facing the bottom of the order, and the moment trouble came, he went to the bullpen, went to Jose Butto, who inherited that runner. Again, the weirdness in this game started around here because that's where the balk happened for the 3 disengagements. Walked, put the runners in the corners, got a ground ball. They couldn't get the double play, and that allowed the Pirates to take the lead there in the 7th. The Mets very quickly responded in the bottom half to tie the game. Nunez, we talked about. I thought it was better, albeit a weird spot to use Nunez. But again, you were dealing with your B relievers today. You didn't have your high leverage guys clearly with how Carlos avoided Diaz, avoided Garrett, and avoided Stanek. So these were the guys that he had. I thought he utilized them the best way he could have, but it was still weird to see Nunez in that 8th inning, but good to see him build that confidence. So maybe not the decision I would have made. Probably would have gone to Kranick there, but you know what? We can be a little results-oriented here. Good for Nunez to put that 0 up on the board and have an inning like that. And then Brazoban, I wrote my notes. He got the 3 outs. He got the 3 outs that he needed. His defense just didn't help him out there in the 9th, but no harm, no foul as they get it taken care of in the bottom of the 9th with the walk-off. Jonathan says Nimmo stealing a home run. Yeah, absolute robbery defensively from Nimmo. I mean, the timing on that, to wait on it, to time the jump, to be able to go up there and take it away. And that's starting to become a thing for Nimmo out there in left field. It's been a couple of those since he's moved to left field over the last couple of years where he's been able to rob those hits at the wall. So really nice job defensively from Brandon. Huge moment in the game for him to be able to rob that home run. Let's talk about the lineup because you saw with Petey on the mound, a ground ball pitcher, your way to get Beatty in there defensively, better than Vientos, so you put him at third, Acuna at second base. This is your chance to get McNeil also in the lineup at center field. You make Vientos the DH, and for those that were so worried about Brett Beatty being out of the lineup yesterday, and Brett Beatty, after having 2 great days, immediately being removed, this is why you let this stuff play out, because the next day, after you face a lefty yesterday, Beatty is right back into the lineup. And with the ground ball pitcher on the mound in Peterson, it allowed Carlos to get all of those guys in there. So I get it. He has the 2 great days. You want to see him rewarded with that. But the Mets and Carlos Mendoza are going to try to find a balance. And they immediately went back to getting all 4 of those guys involved. I mean, that was a clear choice by this team to get those 4 guys involved the way that they did. See a lot of people continuing to praise Luisangel Acuna. And yeah, I mean, he had the misplay there in the 9th when he moved over to third base. But the speed is important. His speed absolutely is the reason why he scores on that Pete Alonso infield hit that Brian Hayes misplays. Anybody other than Acuna does not score in that spot. I take that back. Maybe Jose Siri scores on that play. He certainly is going to try. I know that. Jose Siri would try on that play to score. But Acuna's speed is a difference maker. And I know it's the Pirates, but to win a game in which early on you don't have your offense clicking, you don't have your B relievers, you play some sloppy defense at times, specifically in the 9th inning, to get a win the way that they did, you take it. Like we said, this doesn't have to be pretty. They don't count more if it's pretty. They don't count more if you win 9-0. They just count if you score more runs than the other team, and that's exactly what the Mets did tonight. And this is we defined this in the YouTube thumbnail as they grinded out the victory. I mean, they played scrappy today. They just found ways to stay involved in the game, and they should have taken advantage early of Paul Skeens not being his best. They didn't. They hung around, and this is what good teams are able to do. If you allow them to hang around, if you allow them to stay close, if you give them extra opportunities, right? You boot a ball. If you let the ball go through your legs like your IKF, the Mets will take advantage of that. And again, Juan Soto 0 for his last 12 heading into that at bat in the 9th inning. Lindor gets on base after the ball hits the second base bag. Soto goes, "Oh, really? You're going to allow the winning run to be on base? Here we go. We're going to put one in the gap and allow him to go first to third." So the timely hitting wasn't there early. It was there late. And the Mets pick up their 4th walk-off win this season. I'm looking up at the screen because Carlos Mendoza is doing his post-game press conference, and it says the 4th walk-off of the year for the Mets and Pete's 8th career walk-off RBI. So it was a scrappy night for the New York Mets, but they got the job done, and now they will try to go for their 3rd straight series win tomorrow. And a leader right now for the NL, or one of the leaders right now for the NL Cy Young, will be on the mound tomorrow for the New York Mets in Kodai Senga. So they play scrappy. They grind it out. They do the little things correctly. They overcome some bad defense, and the Mets find a way to win a baseball game 4-3 in front of the home crowd, their fourth walk-off win of the season. That is going to do it for us here on the Mets Postcast. Appreciate all of you joining us here after each and every Mets game throughout the course of the season. We are back here tomorrow night, the moment that game is over, with another edition of the Mets Postcast. We'll break down the good, the bad, the ugly. Hopefully it's just that first category for the Mets tomorrow, but we will be here to break it all down. If you are new, please subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that you're notified when we go live, and you can join us. Perhaps you're listening to us after the fact in the podcast feed. Here you go. Here's a little hint for you. Join us. Join us live. Be a part of the chat. Banter with us. Get your thoughts in here. Consider this your hangout spot after the Mets games are over. The Mets pick up a scrappy victory over the Pittsburgh Pirates in the opener of this series, 4-3. And they will go for the series win tomorrow. We will be here to break it all down. Have a good one, everybody.